In a win for businesses, a federal judge has ruled Pennsylvania's shutdown orders unconstitutional. Governor Tom Wolf's virus restrictions required people to stay home, limit gatherings, and for non-life-sustaining businesses to stay closed. On Monday, a U.S. district judge sided with plaintiffs, saying the governor's rules were overreaching and in violation of the First and 14th Amendments. The judge had added that a solution to a crisis can never be permitted to overtake individual liberty that serves as America's foundation. Another judge called it a victory, adding you can't order the entire population of Pennsylvania to stay home. New York's MTA will now be giving $50 fines to riders not wearing face masks. The purpose is to increase ridership and to pressure the remaining few into complying with the mask requirement. NTD's Don Tran talked with some New Yorkers to hear their reaction.
Over 90% of riders have worn a mask in New York's public transportation system, but the MTA is now trying to get everyone's face covered. Starting today, anyone not wearing a mask will be issued a $50 fine. Some New Yorkers think the fine is just.
I think it should be $100 because I see people right now in the street, for example, that don't wear masks and they're spitting. You don't think that spit is just gonna be airborne for a while. So I get mad when I see that happen. Now when I get into the train, into the MTA system, and I see people without masks, that's sort of kind of disrespectful to everybody else.
Despite the large percentage of people wearing masks, ridership is still low. The total estimate of ridership on subways, buses, and the Long Island Railroad is about 70% lower from last year. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says it's because people are nervous about getting on public transit.
This has happened, by the way, everywhere across the globe. When urban areas have reopened, people have tended to commute by car rather than using public transportation because they're nervous about public transportation.
Some people believe the mask enforcement will make people more willing to get on public transit.
Yeah, because I feel people are loosening up. They're not, you walk around, less people wearing masks than they used to. I think it's important to wear a mask.
The MTA says the fine is the last measure they want to take to ensure all riders are complying with the mask requirement. It has had personnel throughout its transit system giving out free masks to people so they can avoid the fine altogether. The agency has made available 4 million free masks from the state of New York and city of New York at station booths. Mask compliance will be enforced by Transit Authority Police, NYPD, and bridge and tunnel officers. Don Tran, NTD News, New York.
A new report shows global e-commerce sales were up 24% in August compared to last year. The report credits back-to-school sales for much of the increase. NTD's Phil Zoe reports.
A new report from ACI Worldwide shows online sales surging for back-to-school items, video games, and even pet supplies. ACI Worldwide Vice President Erica Dietrich told us people are buying more online since the pandemic.
A lot of consumers are going online to purchase these goods rather to in-store, or they're doing buy online, pick up in store. And it also looks like a lot of consumers are gearing more towards home educational services as a result of, unfortunately, COVID-19.
School supplies are up 56% compared to the same time last year.
I'm not surprised that back-to-school supplies and things like that are bought more online. They're kind of cheap.
Dietrich says the gaming industry has also seen a massive increase.
I definitely have been spending more money on video games, for sure.
Pet supply sales have nearly doubled so far compared to 2019, and video games are up over 100% in August alone.
Pet supplies is massively up. Just watching the news a couple days ago myself, there was a release about how a lot of people are adopting pets at a very high rate.
A shopper told us she's been spending more money on her pet.
Now, since there's really nowhere to go, I'm not really spending money at all because there's nowhere to go. So I've been buying more dog treats, things like that for my dog since I'm home more, and I see that the dog, I'm spending more time with him.
ACI told us it's expecting online sales to continue growing. It's predicting a minimum 25% increase during the holiday season later this year. Phil Zoe, NTD News, New York.
Amazon says it plans to hire 100,000 workers in the United States and Canada.
Amazon says it's looking to fill both full and part-time positions as it expands its footprint. The new jobs will pay at least $15 an hour. The company says it's also offering a signing bonus of up to $1,000 in some cities. It's planning to open 100 operational buildings this month alone, including fulfillment centers, delivery stations, and sorting centers. The outbreak of the CCP virus has fueled an online shopping boom. A recent analysis by Digital Commerce 360 found that visits to the top 2,000 e-commerce sites in North America increased by 125% on average between March and June of this year, compared to the same period in 2019. The top 100 retailers, which include retail giants Amazon and Walmart, accounted for 80% of the growth in traffic. The fastest growing categories in e-commerce were office supplies and sporting goods. But the outbreak has also accelerated an online grocery movement. Analysts and executives predict the online food shopping boom will last beyond the pandemic.
The European Union's chairman told the Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping that the bloc would no longer be taken advantage of and demanded a more balanced relationship in trade.
After a video summit with Xi, European Council President Charles Michel said that the European Union needed to be a player, not a playing field.
We want a relationship with China that's based on reciprocity, responsibility, and basic fairness.
Germany holds right now the rotating presidency of the European Union. German Chancellor Angela Merkel laid down similar ground rules for China.
Overall, cooperation with China must be based on certain principles: reciprocity, fair competition.
Merkel added EU leaders sought to put on pressure on China in order to make progress on an investment deal. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said progress was needed on a certain number of issues, including access to the Chinese market for EU companies, for a deal to be reached.
And for us, with market access, it's not a question of meeting halfway, but it's a question of rebalancing the asymmetry and a question of openness of our respective markets.
Human rights issues were also topics at the talk with Xi. Angela Merkel considered the talk a good, honest, open exchange that should continue.
I am satisfied that in this dialogue with China today, it has been possible to address even those issues that are difficult. As EU Council President, Charles Michel has already said, where we do not agree from the outset, like Hong Kong, like the treatment of minorities and human rights.
The EU is China's top trading partner, while China is second only to the United States for the EU. China and the EU's daily trade practices are worth more than €1 billion per day.